Whatever you decide to do, just keep doing it. Open doors, explosive blessings. I expect it every single day. Increase your awareness, being attentive, and being present with your life. Sometimes we move so fast that we don't even pay attention to our own life and where we are. Like, wow. So we got to celebrate our wins and our accomplishments. The smallest things to us, that's a big thing. Hi, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome to day 3. This is night 3 of the 5-day live class. I'm super honored and excited to have you here with me tonight and the next 2 nights as we lead up to Saturday's live masterclass. Have you got your tickets yet? If you haven't yet, make sure you do. I just wanted to kind of get the build up going. Tonight we have an amazing special guest that I can't wait to introduce. If you're new to just this platform or me, my name is Caressa J. I'm an inspirational speaker, a business coach, a luxury brand influencer, and the CEO of Caressa J Agency, where we are a full service premier marketing, media, and management company where I help you launch the brand that is bigger than your dreams. How many of y'all ready to launch a brand and have a life that's bigger than your dreams? Our theme for this week is Brand the Vision. And it's just time for us to brand, to carry out, and to reveal to the world that which you have been sitting on. How many of y'all been sitting on some things for a little bit? You might share it sometimes, you might tell a friend, but you've been sitting on it for a while, right? Well, it's time to do that. Branding is so important. It's good for you to elevate yourself, to identify yourself as the go-to person, right, in your field, in your niche. It's great for people just to be able to recognize you. What do you want to be most known for? Write that down. What do you want to be most known for? And I don't want to get ahead of myself before Saturday, but thank you, Shanae, for getting your ticket, girl. I don't want to get ahead of myself before Saturday, but what do you want to be most known for? Where do you want to be an influencer in, right? You might say, well, I'm a serial entrepreneur. I have so much stuff that I want to do. Great, but we have to start with somewhere. We have to start somewhere and with something. So think about that. Write that down. What is the overall goal that you have? Branding and purpose aligns. How do you intentionally impact somebody's life when they cross your path? Write that down. How do you intentionally impact somebody's life when they cross your path? What is it that you're going to do? What is it that you're going to say? What is it that you're going to share with them that's going to help them in the trajectory of the rest of their life? And so begin to think about that. The vision you have for your life and your business has a purpose. You don't just have that idea just because, right? You don't just have that thought just because it just randomly came to you. It has a purpose, okay? So if you're waiting on a sign, this is your sign. This is it right here. So I don't want to take too long. I want to introduce to you guys our guest speaker tonight, Bertrina Lyons. She's a thought leader, a leadership coach, a spiritual advisor with over 20 years of experience of vocational ministry, operations, coaching, and thought leadership. Her mantle, though, and we'll talk about that on Saturday, lies in her prophetic voice, y'all. She's so powerful, and she can speak to generations, men and women, in bringing forth deliverance and transformation to the lives of many. What I really like about her is Bertrina is really gifted in strategy and just like as her own like thought leadership and really help you getting from one place to another. Have you ever felt stuck? I've been there, right? So she helps you really get from where you are to where you're going. So if you're not familiar with her, make sure you follow her online at Bertrina, Bertrina. And I'm just going to welcome her on in here so we can get started. Hey, Bertrina!
Hi, Caressa. Good evening, everyone.
Hey, everybody, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm excited.
So I want to just get right into it. So why is branding the vision so important to you?
It's really been important to me, Caressa, especially, I guess I would say over the last year and a half. It's been really important to me. I have to say this, and I don't mean to get too serious tonight, but literally branding and working with you and just everything that have taken place in my business and my ministry over the last year has literally saved my life and changed my life. I knew last year that if I did not move on branding what God had given me, that it would cost me some major things and some major opportunities. So for me, branding my vision and understanding that it's not my vision, it's God's vision for my life and for people, and people are attached to the brand. There's a group of people attached to my brand. There's people attached to all of our brands, and when we don't move, they fail at what they were supposed to do. And so it is so very important to me, so very vital at this time that I moved on the brand that God had given me. And so very important.
Yes. And so what are some daily habits that you can give to help people become successful? Like, what have some things that you have put in place over like the last year?
Oh my goodness. So it's been a roller coaster ride. Let me just really just say that I was at one point, I had built great momentum. I was doing a lot. Things was going well. And I promise you, I never even realized that I just kind of checked out. I checked completely out. And I don't know if anybody that's on with us tonight can relate, but sometimes we get so busy doing the work that we just crash. Our energy levels crash. We deal with fatigue, we deal with doubt, we deal with lack of clarity, and we just end up crashing. And so I had crashed. I was tired, I was worn out, I just lost my focus and my vision, and I had to really get myself back together. And the Lord began to deal with me that the reason why things crashed and the reason why things were not working was because my habits. He showed me that the reason why they are is because of the choices that you make every day. And so sometimes we have to turn that mirror on ourselves. The reason why our businesses are stagnant, the reason why things are not growing, because we haven't turned the mirror on ourselves. And so for a long time, I sat back and I waited for God. God, what do you want me to do? God, what are you saying? And he's waiting for us to build better habits so that we can produce, so that our business can grow, so that our ministries can grow, whatever it is that we're working on. And so I begin to first set aside time to work on the things that God has shown me, to work on my vision. So I set aside time for everything else, for everybody else. I mean, I could plan a trip out. I could set aside time for dinner with my friends, and I could help build somebody else's dreams. But when it came to my stuff, I had a bad habit of deciding, you know what, I'm going to get in this bed and I'm going to watch TV. And so I changed that habit, and I set aside time to work on the vision that God had created me. I started writing out thoughts and brainstorming, just building content last year so that I could be prepared for whenever the time would come or whenever the opportunity would present itself. The other thing that I began to do is I began to invest in myself. One of the things that I realized after just working with different clients, and even after working with the Caressa J agency, is that oftentimes we don't like to invest in ourselves. And so I had to take the step and invest. I had to invest in myself, invest in the vision God had given me, and invest in my brand. I think we do ourselves a disservice, and I'm sorry if I'm talking too fast. I think we do ourselves a disservice to ourselves and to God when we say, okay, I'm gifted and that's enough. Your gift is not enough. Your anointing is not enough. Your skill set for business, it's not enough. You have to continue to invest in your business, invest in your brand. I hear you all the time, Caressa, talk about how you invested over the years so you can become better at your craft and better at what. So that's what I did. I began to invest. I invested with the Caressa J agency. I invested in classes so that I could become better at the gifts and the vision that God had given me. The other thing I did, and I adopted this principle, is I use discipline, habit, and thirst. Ooh. Discipline, habit, and thirst.
I like that.
The first thing is we have to become disciplined. If we're going to see fruit in our business, if we're going to grow our business, we have to become discipline. That is, even when I don't feel like it, I am still going to do it. Even when I'm not up for it today, I'm going to follow this schedule. I'm going to follow this plan. I'm going to do what I wrote in this calendar. I'm going to follow this things to-do list because I am disciplining myself so I can see the fruit later on. And many of times we are not disciplined enough to see the fruit. We look for growth. We look for what's next, but where's the discipline? And so I began to discipline myself. When I didn't feel like it, I still showed up. When I did not feel like it, I still show up. And then habit. Once we discipline ourselves for a certain amount of time, some people say 30 days. Once we discipline ourselves for a certain amount of time, it then becomes a habit. So now that I've been doing this for 30 days, it is now habitual. I'm now going to do it because that has been my routine. And when I tell you I saw God really shift me, I literally moved from neutral to drive. I literally moved into a fast-paced, just a fast-paced season when I began to follow this. So I disciplined myself, and then it became habitual. All right, 5:30 in the morning, I'm getting up for prayer so that I can brainstorm, so that God can show me the next idea, so that God can download the next strategy, so that I'm able to hear and I'm able to see what it is I need to do to thrust or to move this business idea forward. And also, in those times, God will just send people, like resources, connect you with people that you never even imagined or thought of, to help you grow what you need to grow. It's something that you may not even have articulated out of your mouth, but it's been something that's on your heart. Because of your discipline, God honors that. And so the thing that you discipline yourself with, it will become a habit. And after it becomes a habit, now you're thirsty for it. So right, just over a year's time, I'm telling you, I switched my habits. I said, God, I know that you are asking me to do something bigger and greater. I know that there is a business side, and I don't know who this may be for, but I know a lot of the persons that I work with, Caressa, are ministers or pastors or those in the church, but they also have businesses that they do not know how to grow because they can't shift mindsets. And one of the things about your agency, one of the things about your agency, you taught me how to shift my mindset. That listen, God didn't tell you to be poor just because you're a preacher, and God didn't tell you to make that free just because you're a pastor. And so he values the gift that he has given you. And so I'm telling you, discipline, habit, and then I became thirsty for it. After I started to see God move and see the work and see the shift, my thirst began to change. The Bible says, he who hungers and thirsts after righteousness, they shall be filled. So listen, when you hunger and thirst after the things of God, every area of your life is fulfilled. Every single area. He is the God that wants to bless you professionally. He is the God that wants to bless you professionally. Yes. So now, Caressa, I'm thirsty for it. Now I got my discipline. It's a habit now. I'm thirsty for it. I'm brainstorming. I'm writing content. I'm connecting with potential clients. I'm contacting different people, trying to build what I know that the Lord has shown me. So that's some of the habits that I've picked up to be successful in building my brand. But I'm telling you, it definitely took a shift in mindset. A lot of times we can't build because we want to keep the same mindset, and you can't get to where you're going if you stay where you are. And so that's what I tried to do for so long. I tried to get where I was going while staying where I was. No, I'm going to keep the same mindset. I'm going to keep these same habits. I'm going to just stay right here and still hope that I get there by faith, because you know God is going to do it. That's a lie that we tell ourselves as believers. No, we are his hands and feet in the earth. And so if we're going to produce something, then we have to work. And so we got to change our habits.
Y'all got to write in the chat, say, get thirsty, get thirsty, get thirsty.
Yes, get thirsty. Get thirsty. And listen, let me say this while we're talking about thirst. I became thirsty. I became, listen, while this is a plug, it's also honestly the truth. And anyone who knows me knows I'm a truth teller. I really don't sugarcoat things. But your agency, Caressa, your team, you yourself, just really poured so much into me, and it really shifted. How do I want to say it? My land and my womb was barren. And so I don't want to be so deep, but my land and my womb was barren. There was nothing being produced. It was very dry. And so you were able to restore life back into that vision. You were able to bring light back to my vision. And listen, some of the things that we have, some of the businesses we're working on, you don't have to start from scratch. It doesn't have to be brand new. You have to repackage what you already have, repackage what you already know, repackage what you've already been doing, repackage it, repackage it, and represent it. Because a lot of times it's already in us. We've already been doing it. So we just need to repackage it. And so thank you for bringing life and light back into the vision that God had given me for people and for my brand and for the business side of Bertrina Lyons Global.
I'm trying to keep myself together right now. Thank you, y'all. You know, it's so funny, and whoever this is for, some of you may say, you know, I have a point to this. You know, you might say, well, my upbringing, or I was a prostitute, or this happened, or that happened. All things work together for the good. You may have grown up in your childhood, or, you know, your marriage, or whatever it is, your situations may not have been the best, but best believe as you fulfill your purpose and your calling, everything, how many of y'all on here, your past or a situation is going to have something to do with what it is that you're putting out here into the world, right? And answering your call. And so growing up in ministry, you used to, you know, of course, annoy me sometimes because I was in church all the time and this and that, but I always would pick up on things. And so I noticed that there were a lot of pastors and preachers and people in ministry and people who had callings on their life, and they were broke. They were stuck. They lost a lot, right? My daddy, we would pay the church bills before we paid the house bills, right? Some of you would see things, and I realized that that wasn't what he wanted. And so young, I realized, I'm like, wait, if you're giving everything you have to all these people, don't God want you to live in the abundance that you're talking about? Doesn't the word that we read, shouldn't it be rhema? Shouldn't it come alive in our life? And so, you know, I know sometimes y'all get mad at some of the people, preachers, when they got on Gucci and Louis and stuff like that. But guess what? They got to do what they want to do with their money. They are operating in a place of wealth. There are some of them, they're operating in a place of abundance, and that's what I want for you too. So if you feel like, hey, I got a call on my life, or I'm in ministry, I'm a pastor, you can have a business, you can thrive, and you can be rich, right? You can be wealthy, you can have a lot. And also for those of you who love your career, you can have your career and have a business on the side and make 6 figures or $1 million. You do not have to leave your job because you also have a job at the church, as well as a calling to greater and more out here into the world. So you can do it all. You don't have to limit yourself or put yourself in a box. Branding the vision that God gave you so that you can change somebody's life, so that you can impact somebody's life. If you're ready to be rich, say, I'm ready to be rich. Come on, y'all. We're going to put the comments. I know I'm old school. Listen, I'm ready to be rich. I got to get thirsty. I got to change these habits. I have to become disciplined, huh? How many of us have not been doing what we're supposed to do? And I'm a witness. Like, we complain, we make excuses, but when you become thirsty, can't nothing get you. Listen, you do anything to get out the dry land. You'll do anything just to take a sip if you've really been thirsty. Huh? If you've been really thirsty, you're going to go to another place to go get the water. You're going to get out of there because you're expecting something. You want to get rich.
Yes. And look, Caressa, my thirst produced foresight. See? That's how foresight came about. I don't know, for those of you who may know or may not know, this year I hosted Foresight 2022. It's a prophetic intensive that prepares you for the year to come. And without Caressa J and her agency, I don't think I would have done it. But that is something that has been on my heart for a long
My
time.
mind. As powerful and amazing as you are, how was you not going to launch this out?
I mean, I held it tight, Caressa. I just was not going to move on it. But listen, you can't be around greatness and not be great. And so that's what happened. I became thirsty and I went on ahead and did it. And it was successful. And you know what successful means to me? Two things. It means God was pleased and I was at peace.
Ooh.
So God was pleased and I was at peace. That was successful to me. I was at peace because I did what he asked me to do. I did it the way that he asked me to do it. And he was pleased. And so it was a successful event. It was 60 plus people there. I hadn't had any type of event in over 7 years. And so, I mean, I was amazed, but I could not have done it without you helping me bring that vision to light. And now I feel like I'm well on my way.
And thank you so much. You're so gifted and talented, and you have your strategy and things like that. Sometimes we just need that extra push. And even though we may be confident in God or whatever, but sometimes you just need that extra person to just help motivate or encourage you and say, you got this, you can do it. What's the worst that's going to happen? And a lot of y'all on here, I see you, Belinda. I've been loving your comments. I'm over here sipping, right? All of you, you know that you have it, right? Felicia, you got it. But sometimes you just need that little nudge or that little push just to back you up just so that you can launch out. Y'all, it's time for y'all to launch out. Wait, oh my gosh, today I've been studying for Saturday and I don't want to get ahead of myself, but it is really time for you to launch out. It is your time. It is your season. This is your sign. Your destiny awaits you. You have already, just by being on these live classes this week, y'all, you guys are already operating in a higher dimension. Isn't that exciting to know that you're operating at a higher dimension? You're going to a new place. You are elevated. You're at a new level in your life. So, Bertrina, tell me something, because you be in your health. You be on a lot of stuff to help you. So what are some ideas that you turn into actions?
Ideas that I turn into action.
Be productive, and or like some of your day-to-day things that you do, like about waking up early and spending time with God. What are some things, and you cover this in foresight, like that we should be doing for ourselves or in our body or whatever, so that we can be productive?
Well, one of the things I first want to say about ideas, Caressa, is that there are a lot of ideas in the grave.
Yeah.
There are a lot of ideas in the grave, and potential will not make any of us great. So we have the potential, we have the ideas, but it doesn't make us great. It's not until we actually put action to it, put feet to our vision, put feet to our faith, that things begin to happen. And so I can't even remember the question that you just asked me. So you may have to ask me again, but I had to get that out about ideas, because I'm like, I got a ton of ideas. I mean, literally right here in my office now, and I have about 15 journals that I've had since I was like 10 years old with ideas and thoughts and powerful things, but I never moved on them. Mm-hmm. And so you have to turn your ideas into action. You have to put feet to your vision. You have to put feet even to the things you are believing God for. Faith without works is dead. And another thing is, and this is what I did when it was time to turn my ideas into actions. When you don't have the skill, hire someone. Bingo. I would always say, I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to come up. When you don't have the skill, hire someone. Listen, God will speak to you in the midst of your folly or not knowing. He literally was like, hire somebody. And so sometimes when we don't know how, or we need to move on an idea and we don't know, hire somebody. And like Caressa said, I'm really great with strategy. I'm really great at helping people shift from one place to the next. When it comes to ideas, find somebody that will help you, that cares about you, that cares about the vision, to help you move your ideas forward. That's what the agency did to me. But one of the things too that I do every day, and I probably already said this, but it is a habit and I'm thirsty for it, is when I first get up in the morning, I drink a bottle of water and I pray.
Mm,
And I know it sounds so cliche, and I know we hear things like that a lot, but I'm telling you, it when I begin to pray, I see what I'm supposed to do. I
mm,
hear what I'm supposed to do. And so I say this a lot. And so this may sound a little twisted, but it's true. We're supposed to read our word so that we can see. Read your word so that you can see. And
mm,
pray so that you can hear.
mm,
So I don't have vision. I don't have vision. I lack clarity. Somebody saying that I lack clarity. I'm not sure what's next. Read your word. Read the word of God, whether in business or whether in ministry, because anything that you try to produce outside of the will of God is illegal. In
yeah.
business or ministry, if you try to produce it or grow it or strategize it outside of God, it is illegal. It's not in void, and it's no promise that it will be fruitful. And so
Mm,
everything that you need for your business or for your ministry, you know, God doesn't need your idea. He gave you the idea. And so he just needs your hands and your feet to do the work. And so
mm,
I drink a bottle of water and I pray. And every time I pray, I begin to hear. And every time I read, I begin to see. Because when we are short on vision, when we lack vision, when we lack clarity, when we read the word of God, I'm telling you, it makes our vision clear. I don't know how, I don't know what the secret is, but I'm
mhm.
telling you, give it a try for 30 days. And every time you read, I'm telling you, you're going to get strategy, you're going to get vision concerning your business every time.
Wow, that is so good. Just talking about the discipline, consistency, drinking a bottle of water. And a lot of millionaires, if you study them, they'll say they wake up early, they drink a bottle of water, right? Or warm water with lemon or something like that. And then, like you said, they either do some type of devotional or prayer to set their day and start their day, even meditation and things like that. So that's really, really good because that really, how you start your day really it will set the whole rest of the day.
Yeah.
Trust me, I know if I wake up late or if I do something, that's going to be how the rest of my day goes. So that's really, really good and powerful. Sometimes we look for, me as a coach, and I'm talking to people every day. People be really wanting you to say or tell them something that's just big and extreme to help their life change in business. And it's like if you do the most simplest thing, right?
Yeah.
Will launch. So, a lot of you, you're like, I'm going to talk about those simple things on Saturday. The simplest things will help you to launch. Do y'all hear me? If you're ready to do that, I'm available for business coaching and branding, just FYI. But Bertrina, that's also good. So, talk about your building process, how it's been over the last year. Like, how did you build your brand? I know you work with us, but how did you build your brand?
So I literally and I wasn't like some of you who can repackage what you have. I literally really started from scratch as it relates to building my brand. I didn't even start out initially, Caressa, trying to build a brand. I was just myself.
Yeah.
I was just me. I was just forward. I was just truthful. I was just me. I enjoy people. I enjoy sharing the word of God. I enjoy speaking prophetically to people because I feel like the world needs it. And a lot of times we just miss out on that. So I didn't intend to build a brand. But as I was just going about life being myself, I literally saw that a brand needed to be built. And
Mm,
so when I saw that, that's when I began to just invest and to start taking the next steps. And so one of the first things I started to work on is, what is my purpose for right now? What
mm,
is my purpose for right now? Because some of us have businesses and assignments and different things happening, and we don't always have to do the same thing all the time. You don't have to do the same thing forever. And so I knew my brand might be had to be very flexible. I knew my brand was multi-dimensional because there are so many things that I could discuss. I could discuss marriage. I could discuss leadership. I could discuss ministry.
mm,
There's so many areas, and I would always get lost in all of those areas that I really could really could teach on and really could discuss. And so I would get lost in it and I wouldn't do anything. But it is a gift to be multidimensional. It's a gift to be very flexible in our businesses. But I begin to ask God to kind of zero in, what is it that you want me to do right now? And I knew that right now I needed to be a teacher. I knew that in this hour I needed to offer a service as a teacher. And that's one of the things too I want to release on tonight, that whatever you're doing right now, it should be a service that you're offering others. If you're building a business or a ministry or a church, anything that you're building that is not of service to others, it's not from God. And so I'm very sure in saying that if you're building something that does not service others, it's not of God, because everything that was done in the word of God was done to service people. And so when I own in on what he wanted me to do right now, my purpose for now was to teach and to build business around teaching. And so that's what I began to do. And I started to work on content. And listen, when I started out, everyone, I was very like, I didn't understand any of these words. Caressa would send me certain things and I would say, what does that mean? She was like, we're working on your copy. I was like, what's a copy? I didn't know what content necessarily meant in the business world. So I learned so much. You know, it was certainly a high learning curve, and I'm still learning, but I began to build and I began to work towards building to my target audience. And my target audience was or is executives, leaders, pastors, those that are in leadership positions. That was my target audience, and that's how I began to write my content. That's how I began to build my content, and that's where I am now.
It's so funny when you talk about authenticity. And so that's been something that we have been talking about all week, like to be yourself and authentic. And so sometimes we see what's trending and we see what other people are doing or what other leaders are doing or someone in the space, not recognizing that if you are authentically you, your people, your tribe, as they say, or whoever it is, your audience, they're going to connect with you because of who you are and how you do your specific things. And when you talked about like gifts and what your purpose to do at that time, you and I had a strategy session a long time ago. And one of the things you said was, Caressa, I see that you have a box full of gifts. Like you're just gifted in this area and gifted in that area. And you just said, like, use your gift at the time you're supposed to use it. Like, don't put yourself in the box, because if Monday you're supposed to talk about business, Tuesday you're supposed to talk about grief and loss, Wednesday you're supposed to talk about, personal development. Use your gifts as you're led. And so some of you feel like, and I tell people this all the time, they're like, well, my bio, what do I put on this? And I say, hey, I change my bio every week, depending on who I'm sending it to, right? I send my Instagram title stuff every week, depending on what I'm doing that week. So you guys have to remember, like, you can have 10 things going on at one time and not be in it. Think about me. I have an agency, but right now, all you see me marketing is Saturday's masterclass. Then after that, you'll probably see me maybe marketing the retreat that's in March. That's events. But then one day I'll be a speaker and one day I'll be a coach, right? So you just have to flow in what it is that you're supposed to be doing at that time. Do not worry about your titles. Do not worry about what somebody is, seeing you as. Just think about, what am I called to right now? What am I purpose for? Be authentically you and do that and be that. So, Bertrina, what's one piece of advice you would give to yourself, use for yourself, that you would give to another business owner?
So again, another practical piece of information. But before I answer that, Caressa, I go back and say, as it relates to building our brand, one of the things we have to be reminded of is that we have to engage and support. I really am very disturbed by people who never engage, never support, never, talk to you until it's time for them to host something, until it's time for them to offer you a product of theirs to buy. And so one of the things as business owners and as builders that we have to do is we have to engage people and support other people outside of our events. It's nothing worse than just hosting an event and now you're trying to get people you've never dealt with them before the time that you host something. That really, so I just wanted to say that's one of the things that that I learned over time too, even before this kind of relaunch that I'm having, I've always been a big supporter. Even a lot of pastors and preachers that I'm connected with, they always ask me, how did you grow your ministry? Or how can I grow my church? Well, who have you supported? Who have you engaged with? Did you go to their revival? Did you go to their service? Did you buy their product? You've never supported. And that's why it's dry when it's time for you to host something. So you have to engage and you have to support. But I know you asked me something else. I think.
So what was that? That could be it. I said, what is your number one advice that you use for yourself that you would tell another business owner? And that's actually what you just said was a good piece of advice for sure.
Well, I was going to say this is very practical, but I mean, it's very real. One of the things that I use for myself that I would tell another business owner is rest. I'm not the I get the grind hard mentality because I did grind to get off the ground what it is I'm building. But I believe in the power of rest. Sometimes when we are moving so much and doing so much, it causes our creativity to be dried up. But rest causes our vision to become even the more clearer. When we rest, our creativity, our vision, all of that comes to life. When we're always doing, always pouring, always giving, always trying to analyze and figure it out, our creativity dries up. I remember it was just a couple weeks ago, for maybe about 3 weeks straight, I had to minister in some capacity, or I had to offer services in some capacity for 3 weeks straight. At the end of that, someone asked me, can you please do this for me really quick? I couldn't because I lacked creativity and I lacked vision. I didn't have the capacity because I had given so much and I had not had any rest. And so rest will oftentimes cause our creativity to just be illuminated. Rest, yes. Belinda said, rest breeds creativity.
Yes.
So my pastor, I don't know if she's on here tonight or not, but I see that she has said, rest is medicine. Rest is medicine. And so I'm just really big on making sure that you rest so that you can be successful. You can have the energy, all of that. And I think it was Elijah or Elisha in the Bible. He was sitting under a juniper tree, resting. And when his rest was over, God said, all right, get up and eat because the journey ahead is great. So after you've rested, don't get lazy or slothful. But after you rest, get up and eat because there is still so much more work for us to do. And sometimes rest can make us lazy and slothful. So we don't want to get to that point, but we do want to rest enough so that our creativity can be alive.
Oh, that is so good. So good. It's so funny because just watching you evolve and grow, like you're the same person, but you're just in flow, right? You're just in your own, like in a place where he's just kind of carrying you through. Like launch Foresight, just a couple of weeks ago, and now you're shifting to doing your next big thing. And so you'll see the more you do it, it's still probably overwhelming sometimes because like, oh my gosh, I'm about to put something else out there, but you'll feel at ease because you know that you're where you're supposed to be and doing what you're supposed to be doing. And the right people, whether it's one person or 100 people, will come to it. They'll be called to it. So you might say, oh, well, that lady has 1,000 people coming to her thing and I only had 10. That's fine. Winter mentioned that yesterday, like serve who you're serving now because the greater and the latter is coming. So I want to talk about Foresight and Mark for Greater only because when we talk about Saturday's masterclass and just everything that I have coming out, you literally use some of those skills and tips and all those things you put in place to birth that out in a year. And so I know some people feel like, oh my gosh, it's going to take me forever, or I have all this. And I say, let's just start with one thing at a time. So tell us about what you created. Like talk to us about Foresight and Mark for Greater, because when she launches this out, y'all soon, I want y'all to hop on it. Foresight was so powerful, but just talk about like you created a signature program and course in less than a year and launched out, right? So talk to us about what you created in this time frame after working with us and all that good stuff.
So listen, I'm so excited because you know, God can do more for you in a year than you can do for yourself in 10. And
Yeah.
so I had this like this balance up, right? It was like personal growth, or what I call personal growth or God growth. Personal
Mhm.
growth, I had my own plan. I know how I could do this. I know I could get to the finish line. That was my personal growth. But I needed God growth. I needed it to be breathed on. I needed all of that. And so, I mean, your agency really helped me to catapult to that place. But I launched Foresight 2022, and like I said earlier, it's a prophetic intensive that prepares us for the following year. But it's even more than that, Caressa. It is me sitting with individuals, shifting them from one dimension to the next. It's me sitting with individuals, looking at their plan, looking at their business, looking at their ministry, and looking at them, and being able to say, this is not it, or this is great, but. And so I have already started. I think I said earlier, from Foresight on December 20th, I had 60 plus people, but I had 40 plus people to purchase the VIP package. And my VIP package included a one-on-one session with me. And I've already started sitting down, having these one-on-one sessions with people. It's been so powerful, and it has resulted in multiple streams of income. It has resulted in, I mean, I didn't prepare for this. I didn't imagine this. I only set out to host this one night, and it has become something more, and it's just powerful. And so that's another thing too about vision. You know, when God opens a door, there's rooms inside that door. It doesn't just stop at that door. There are rooms inside that door. He opened the door, and I hosted Foresight, but there were so many rooms inside that door. And so when you take the first step, God will take two. And the other thing that I'm launching soon is Mark for Greater. It's my signature program. One of the things I understand is that we will not all be famous, but we all can be great. And so Mark for Greater is for persons in leadership, even emerging leaders. This program will just help develop people in a way that is very just very strategic. So we'll talk about a lot of spiritual things, a lot of personal development. We're talking about boundaries. We're talking about building in low places. We're talking about building while bleeding, all types of things. So I created this signature program. It's a 6-week program that's going to be launched this spring. I'm really excited about it, but it's just, to do all of this in a year's time has been absolutely crazy. And I just realized that the more I work and the more I do, and the more I show God my faithfulness and my commitment, he just keeps speaking, he keeps showing, he keeps revealing. And thus far, it's been a really great ride. And people have come, like you said, when you are yourself, your tribe will come. I've gotten so many calls and inboxes and emails about the content they see. Who's the person that you're working with? Who set your brand up? You know, how did you do this? All types of things. People see, they notice. I think it might have been Oprah who said, when you do well, people notice. And so, Caressa, because of your agency, because of what you poured into me, I've been doing well, and people have been noticing. And the people that have been noticing have also been purchasing. Amen. Amen. And so I know we don't always like to talk about money or talk about the dollar, but if we're talking about business tonight, then it's about the dollar. And so persons have been investing, they have been purchasing, they have been putting down installment plans, all types of things, so that they can be a part of this. And one of the things that one of the reasons why I know that God will bless what I'm doing is because it is very pure in heart. You know, it's very genuine. It's not fluff. A lot of times I see business owners, and this was something that I wanted to make sure I didn't do. I see business owners over promise but under deliver. over promise but under deliver. And so it was imperative for me that whatever I promised, I had to deliver that or more. I want to encourage the business owners that are on with us tonight. Whatever you put on your flyer, whatever you show on your flyer, whatever you post online to try to draw people, you make sure you deliver that and you over deliver. You give it 150%, because I paid for a lot of classes and a lot of workshops and a lot of things that ended up being fluff. I was unimpressed. People that I admired, I would join their classes and think, oh, wow, I'm here to learn something, and I would not get what I paid for. So I think as business owners, we owe it to God, we owe it to our clients to over deliver what we promise.
That is so good. Going back, because we were talking about vision and purpose earlier. And so I know that you were really happy. And so the thought that came to me was being on your purpose journey brings joy. Being on your purpose journey brings joy. So sometimes if you just are in alignment, right, and you're doing what you're supposed to do, like you said, and doing those things in the morning and praying and drinking your water and being consistent or whatever, being on your purpose journey brings joy. Also, consistency brings clarity. Consistency brings clarity. Clarity comes with action. So when you do the works, you get clear. Guys, I sometimes throw things out. Like if you do one program, you do one retreat, you learn, you hear the feedback, and then you do another one. You just keep going and making it better. And guess what? The 5 topics you spoke about the first time at your event or at your coaching program or whatever it is that you're doing, if they really ask 5 different ones and you do that the next time, people will tell you what they want. They will tell you what they need. Engage with your audience, engage with other people, support other people, and you will grow your brand. So this has been super, super good. But for those of you who feel like you don't have happiness and joy, I'm telling you, if you begin to answer the call, if everything that you're feeling like is inside of you and begin to just do it little by little and brand the vision, is not, listen, I have branded myself 2,050 times, okay? It's not going to be like this next year or the year after, but you start somewhere. At least with working with me, you start at a higher level, okay? Luxury.
Yeah.
But at least, you know what I mean? And that's why I kind of created the business and everything that I'm doing, because I remember spending at least $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 over time of all these programs, like you said, and people not delivering, or they're saying, well, I'll help you do this. And then they're not telling me that I'm missing these other 5 pieces. And I'm like, oh no, we can't do that no more, right? Yeah. You guys need to, what are you talking about? Maybe someone might not be a celebrity, but all of you are niche experts. All of you are celebrities in your own right. You're niche celebrities, okay? So you are an influencer by doing what it is you want to do. Think about what Bertrina was saying. She was saying that she loves ministry and God, and she's a thought leader and a speaker and a coach. So she made a program around who she is, and everybody was like, oh, that sounds good. She did not make a program that another person was doing. She did it based upon where she was, what she's been through an experience, what she's educated in or whatever, and people are drawn to that. So you may say, whatever I'm about to build is something different, or might be something that somebody might not think is cool, or whatever it is. Do what you're supposed to do. And even for you, Kiana, like what you want to do is probably not going to be what everybody else is doing. It's going to be unique. It's going to be different. But guess what? When you put it out there, people are going to buy into it. And like Bertrina said, if you're doing good, they're going to see it and they're going to buy into it. So this has been super good. What you want to say?
No, I was just thinking while you were talking, we have to kill comparison because comparison is going to keep us stuck mentally. It's just going to keep our businesses from even growing at all. But we have to kill comparison. I mean, you said something else, but I forgot the thought now. But the comparison thing, we have got to kill that and just be ourselves and let it go. Oh, I was going to say, people will always buy into a personality. Whatever your personality is, whatever your place of authenticity is, whatever your truth is, whatever your story. There's so many facets to my story, Caressa. I eventually I want to tell my story about, being sexually violated. There's somebody I can help with that area of my story. There's so many different facets, but as long as you're authentic, people will buy into your personality. They will buy into your person. They will buy into you before they ever buy a product. And so we just have to be ourselves and be authentic, and ultimately God will do the rest.
And comparison is a thief of joy. Like comparison will take joy away. So either you're gonna build your purpose journey, focus on yourself, right? I've had to unfollow brands and people, not because there's no beef, but if I'm gonna keep, dissecting everything that they're doing, what's the point? You know what I mean? It's not personal, but it's personal. Y'all, that's my new quote. It's not personal, but it's personal. Sometimes you got to make it personal based upon where you're going and what you want to do. So if it's certain things you can't look at, if it's certain things you can't watch, if it's certain things that you can't study so that you can get where you need to be, then do it. This is your personal season. This is your personal year. Everything right now is all about you. Forget everybody else. I don't care if they're a family member, if they're a close friend. This is your personal year. This is your personal season. Like walk into this so that you can fulfill the purpose for your life. You want to when it's your time gone on earth, you want to say, "Wow, I made a lot of impact. I've had influence, and my life has been increased, and my money, I made some income." Okay. So you want to increase your income, your impact, and your influence by being on this purpose journey, and that will also bring joy. Sometimes branding and business is overwhelming. Sometimes you're like, I don't know about this. It's too much. They ain't buy. They ain't jump on. I have 20 people tell me that they heard something I said, and I ain't never see them make a comment. I ain't see them checking no email. I ain't make them purchase. Don't worry about that. Who you're called to, they're going to come. Who you're called to, you're going to come. So does anybody have any questions or comments? Bertrina, you have anything to say? I don't want to hold them on here too long.
No,
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
over saying this is my personal season.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Are y'all ready for Saturday? If you're coming on Saturday, say I'm coming so we can see who's coming on Saturday. Belinda, I got you. I can't wait to see you on Saturday. All of you, Kiana, I got your ticket. I saw that. So I can't wait to see you on Saturday. Shanae, I saw that. Y'all put your things in there. Felicia, I know you're coming. So I'm super excited. Karen, I can't wait to see you, girlfriend. So listen, y'all. Bishop, we're gonna miss you. Lori Jackson, Lori, my God, you gonna be there. Taquetta, you gonna be there. I'm super excited to see all of you on Saturday. It's gonna be a good time. Have y'all been enjoying this 5-day live class? Was it necessary? I just thought, we give y'all a little something, you know what I mean, to just talk about branding the vision. Oh, Lionel, that's such a pleasure. Thank you. I'm super excited. Can't wait to see your name. Yes, Bertrina, you got your ticket. And y'all, let me tell you something. Some of the speakers on here, well, they got their tickets. That should tell you something. Bertrina got her ticket. She's one of the first ones. I know Leslie had got her ticket. Like people got their tickets. And Tasha, like, I'm super I'm grateful for that. But that shows like Bertrina, I was like, can you come on here? And she still got her ticket and she's still pouring into herself, right? She's still learning, she's still growing, right? So guys, invest in yourself, invest in your dream. If you have questions about business or branding, send me an email, info@caressaj.com. And look, we about to get it. This is your personal year. There's no reason why you should be just stagnant anymore. You have too many resources at your fingertips you should not just be going backwards. You're supposed to be going forward. There is a lifestyle. There is something that you're called to in a higher place of your life. You too can have that. You don't have to say, well, this is all I can do because this is all my surroundings is. You can change your environment. It starts in the mind, but it also starts in the heart. Say heart check. You got to change your heart and you got to change your mind so that you can go into a higher place. I understand that you might have worked let's just say McDonald's for 25 years or whatever the case may be. You can have more if you desire more. You just have to position yourself well. Position yourself meaning drinking your water, like she said, being consistent, putting yourself out there. If the branding is not where you want it, at least if you're authentic, people will still follow you. I've seen people make millions of dollars and their stuff is trash. Do you hear me? Trash. I'm just trying to help you make your stuff a little bit more attractive. So you have a better reputation about yourself, okay? But listen, if they can do it, you can do it. So I hope that's some encouragement for you. If you haven't got your tickets yet, Shanae, did you put the link in here? Make sure you get your Eventbrite ticket done tonight or tomorrow. I'm super excited to have you. If you have any specific questions, thank you so much. make sure you guys email me or have them on Saturday. There will be a time on Saturday for questions and answer. There's not no dumb question or nothing silly. Like, look, we're all learning and growing together. I'm still learning every single day. I go to conferences and events and all that good stuff every year. Like, I'm still pouring into myself so that I can serve other people. I don't want you to have to make the same mistakes that I made, right? I don't want you to be, stagnant for a certain long time and just taking things. Listen, I want you to thrive. I'm taking words out of my mouth that I'm going to share on Saturday. Like, it's a couple of words that I have that I can't wait to speak to you, of just keywords for my mom said, I'm still going to learn at 68. Y'all, I give it up to her because I do have a master's degree, but my mom be in school every year. And I'm like, dang, she's 60-something years old. She's like, all right. Like, people learn and learn and learn. So that's probably where I get it from. Like, she's always writing a book or doing something. So listen, if she could do it still at 68, like, she be in school, y'all. I'm like, I'm done. But anywho, if she can do it at 68, you can do it at 30, 40, 50, and 62. So it's your time. I'm super excited for you. I'm super excited for what's to come. Like, I get chills every time I think about who I'm called to and what's happening even this weekend on Saturday, because some of you, even if you can't make it, like, you know that it's your time. You know that you've been sitting on something. You're like, what do I do? How do I launch out? You're about to get your answer, and it really starts with simple tools. Sometimes you just need somebody just to kind of give you that push. Like, come on, let's do it. We all going to do this together. So y'all, we're going to do this together. We're going to all launch out. I'm super excited for you. And yeah, so I will see you guys tomorrow night at 8:00 p.m. here, the live class. We have Leslie Butler. She's amazing. She's been in business over 10 years. She owns In His Hands Wellness. So I can't wait to have her here with us. And she's a powerhouse in her own right as well. So are you guys coming tomorrow? I can't wait to see you tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So thank you so much, Bertrina.
Thank you.
And thank you guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow.